Hey guys, it's Casey. Welcome back to my channel. Hopefully the setup works because you're teetering on like 3 eyeshadow palettes right now. It's very dangerous. But the reason why I wanted to film today is this is going to be like a looser video. It's probably not going to be that much about books. It's more like of a booktube kind of talk about why I love watching booktube and kind of like what I want to change about my booktube watching habits. So why I wanted to film today was I feel a little disconnected from my channel. I've posted like regularly since I kind of re-geared it, but last weekend I was away. I was out of town. I went to a concert with my sister. It was super fun, but because of that I had to like film, so I actually haven't really filmed for my channel for like 2 weeks, and so I miss it, and I just wanted to film, and I just wanted, I don't know, just to film something, and I wanted to talk about, it is raining so hard here. That's also why there's a different background where I normally film. That room is like way too gloomy. And so I hope you can't hear it raining, but it's crazy. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was kind of like why I love BookTube. I feel like there's a lot of videos out there talking about what's wrong with BookTube, and I get it. I mean, it can be annoying sometimes, like all the sponsored books that get pushed on you, and everyone tends to kind of read the same books, it seems like. I mean, you really have to like stretch to like find people who read different stuff, but I mean, it's out there. Anyway, but that's not what this video is about. This is about why I love BookTube and why I wanted to get back into it when I took that break over like the holidays. So a little bit about like me, I guess, is, so I've never really talked about what I do for a living. So I am the director of finance for like a nonprofit, essentially. And so in that role, it's a very kind of isolating role. And what brought this to mind was actually I just finished reading A Man Called Uva. It is raining so hard, guys. Anyway, sorry, I will quit talking about the rain. I just finished this. I actually listened to it on tape, and I finished it last weekend when I was driving. And in this book, Uva is a very, he's a very like black and white kind of guy. It's either right or it's wrong, and if it's wrong, he's gonna tell you that it's wrong, and he doesn't give 2 fucks about what people think of him. But at the same time, he really struggles with it. There's this whole storyline that goes through. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's actually kind of a darker storyline that goes through it, where he's just very lonely, and he in some ways, like his outward aggression towards people in the world, it's really just like a wall to protect himself. And this made me kind of think about myself, and not in this obviously the same ways, but in my job as director of finance and doing accounting, it's a very black and white kind of position. There's a wrong way to do the accounting, and then there's a right way. Or we're a nonprofit. There's things that we're allowed to spend our money on, and there are things that we absolutely cannot spend our money on. And it's like illegal too, like we will get in trouble. But sometimes at work, I just feel like that I'm not supported when I have to come and be like, no, like we can't spend our money like that, or we don't have the budget for it, or just like things like that. I don't really have that support, and sometimes it feels like I'm just looked upon as, oh, that's just Casey, she's being grumpy, or she's being a buzzkill, or all these things. And also, this will all go back to BookTube, I promise. It's just like I go into work like today is Friday, and all of this week I like barely gotten spoken to. I may get spoken to maybe like for 5 or 10 minutes a day. I'm not exaggerating at all. Like, I go the vast part of my day without being talked to. And that's, I've been at this position for 4 years, and this is the only job I've ever had that struggle with. Like, the other places I've worked before weren't like this. And so over the 4 years, it's been like a struggle. Ask my mom. It's like a whole deal. I've tried, like being more outgoing. I've invited them to my home, my coworkers. I've like done pretty much like all I can do. I've tried to change my personality to make these people like me and whatever. And it clearly hasn't worked, because we're 4 years later, and they just, like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I think there's a lot of reasons for it. I think, I live in Kentucky right now, a small town. I'm not from here. I grew up a lot of places, but I always say Las Vegas, because that's where I went to middle school and high school. So there's obviously that. There's a very different, just mindset when you grow up in a place like Las Vegas than when you live and have only lived in a place like Kentucky. Neither one's good or bad. They're just very different. Also, age. I am the youngest person in the office, but it's also weird because I'm essentially like the third in command. So I think that's really hard for people to deal with when when their children might be older than me, or I am their child's age. But anyway, so my whole thing is, like, normally it doesn't get to me, like, especially lately, especially since I restarted my YouTube channel. I've really had like I don't give a fuck about my work and kind of thing, because there is nothing wrong with me. And I read the book The Quiet by Susan Cain, I believe. I'll link it below. I read that earlier in the year, and that's about being an introvert and like the power of introverts. And that's what it is I am a very introverted person. That doesn't make me socially awkward. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. I'm a nice person. Like, I am outgoing. I will talk to you and everything when I'm comfortable with you. So normally it takes, like a little bit to warm up, and then like whatever, then we'll be friends and everything will be fine. But if I'm also to the point where it's like I'm tired of forcing people to be my friend. Like, I at work, like in the past, I've always been like going to people's offices, trying to start conversations and stuff, and it's very one-sided. Like, they never return that and came talk to me, or invited me to things, or asked me about my weekend. And so I'm kind of done with that. Like, I'm done putting in more effort than other people in friendships. Like, it should definitely be like a give or take, and not like, I'm not saying in the span of the relationship and the life cycle, there's not, sometimes one person is going to be putting in more of the effort. That's just the way relationships work. But when you look at it like overall, like over the span of several years, it should be pretty, even. And it just wasn't. It's not even at my workplace. Basically, so lately I've just like not given two shits about it. I've just, been like, I'm only here for 8 hours. It's fine. Like, let's, it's fine. But I think why this week has just been really, not really hard, but hard. Like, today's Friday, it's at night, obviously, and I'm drained. I feel very lonely, and I think why it's different is because last weekend, like I said, I was with my sister and my dad and with my family, and so I was with people who loved me and who actually talked to me and who had interest in me and who asked me questions, and we could have conversations. And so so going from that on one weekend to now to right immediately flowing into not being spoken to for like 5 days straight, it's like a mind fuck essentially. Like it is very, you have to be very secure in yourself to realize that there's not something wrong with you. And I haven't always been that in the 4 years I've lived here. I went through a lot of time where I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, let me change everything about myself. And then I would always hate myself after that. Like, I'd be like, oh, like, you know, when you say something that's completely out of character, I'd be like, why did I say that? I hate that I said that. Anyway, that's a very long story. But so it's almost better when I don't see my family for long periods of time. Because then it's like more consistent, and not that I don't see them. Like I talk to them on the phone, I FaceTime, you know, weekly, but, from going to like seeing them in person and having that in-person connection to immediately having your next in-person connections being like shitty and terrible. Anyway, so that's a long story about why now we're getting into why I wanted to do booktube, because reading before I moved here like was such a big part of my life, and I would constantly be reading and you know, talking about books with my coworkers or my friends or whatever, my family. But here I don't have that, and so I kind of stopped reading for a long time when I first moved here. And then I don't even remember how I found booktube. I have no idea. But finally, it was like a place where I could listen to other people talk about books. And, you know, before I even had my channel, I would watch these people and maybe they were talking about books that I had read, and, you know, I could like have a mental conversation with them. Or, then when I had my channel, you know, it was not that I have like that many subscribers or the comments or anything, but it was more like I could at least pretend that I was talking to someone and have, I don't know, just at least put myself out there, you know, in a way that was comfortable for me, in a way that I wasn't changing everything about myself, but that is still somewhat uncomfortable. Like, it's really uncomfortable. I shoot with my iPad. It's really uncomfortable to talk to an iPad. Like, it's super weird. It's even weirder, like, when my sister visits and I shoot, but she's not in the video, and then she's like just listening to me. That's super weird too. But anyway, so this was uncomfortable, but it was still, it was in a way that I was testing myself, but not changing myself, if that makes sense. So I have this channel, but I don't have that many subscribers or that many comments. So it's, I'm not like fully getting the engagement I want, but, and that's my fault. I'm not like blaming anyone. That's kind of, now we're gearing into what I want to change. So even though I have a small channel and, you know, like my channel doesn't really have like the community aspect I think some of their bigger channels have. Just being a fan of booktube and being able to watch people still gives me that sort of connection. Like Peter Likes Books is a great example. When you watch his videos, it is like you're sitting in his living room just talking to your friend about books or audiobooks, or, you know, doing a tag, like whatever Peter's talking about. I feel the same way like with like Julie from Pages of Pen and Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads, or Books and Lala, like, or even I love watching Reagan from Peruse Project, her weekly vlogs or weekend vlogs. Like when I watch those, it's like I'm there with her and Clay and reading, and, you know, and what's her dog's name? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's like I'm there though with her little dog, whose name I don't remember. So I think that booktube came to me in a, oh my god, I'm not gonna cry about booktube. Like, that's insane. It just came into my life when I needed that connection, when I needed to feel like there wasn't something wrong with me. Like, no one that I know here reads, you know, and like I would reference books, or just like historical figures, and they would have no idea what I was talking about, which is fine. Like, that's nothing wrong on their end, but also it really made me feel like, oh, what is wrong with me? And so being a part of this community, you know, it just came at a perfect time where I just needed some reassurance that I wasn't fucking crazy. Anyway, so now about what I want to do better with BookTube. And this isn't about my channel. Like, my channel is gonna grow at its own rate. Like, it's fine. I honestly don't really... there's something a little bit freeing about knowing that really only like 7 people are gonna watch your videos. Like, I can put stupid stuff like this up, you know, and know that like no one's really gonna watch it. But there are things that I want to do to become more a part of the BookTube community. So one thing is that I am awful about leaving comments on videos that I watch. So I want to get better at that. Part of the reason is normally I watch them like on my Apple TV or on my TV. And so then like I would have to like pull up the app or whatever and do it, but no excuses. Like, if I like the video, or even if I just want to be better about commenting on people's videos, because I know how much it means to me when someone comments on my video, and so I want to also do that, but also then to start these conversations with, you know, some of my favorite booktubers, and maybe find other people and other channels and, you know, make some real connections. One other thing that I want to do is Julie from Pages and Pen and Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads, they have like a book club thing where they read trashy romance books essentially. And last month, they do a live show for it at the end of the month. And last month, I just watched the live show, but I hadn't, like, read the book. And so I would get a little bit into the comment section and say stuff. But since I hadn't read the book, I couldn't really be actively engaged in it. But for May, their book, their live stream thing is on the 25th. So I have about a week. Not about a week. I have exactly a week. It's next Friday. So I think I'm going to read the book. And that way that when I watch a live show and I can like be in the comments and be actively engaged and, you know, have comments about the book and, I don't know, just be a part of something. I don't know exactly why I made this video or like what the point of it is really, except like kind of a therapy session, but yeah. I just hope that it finds someone who either needs encouragement to know that there's nothing wrong with you, even if you're very different from everyone around you, and that when people are just like mean to you, that says more about their character than it does about you. Like, I've had to think that a lot. Like, today everyone ordered lunch and didn't invite me to also order pizza, you know. That says more about their character than it does about mine. So just keep telling yourself that, and you know, find your niche, whether it's on the internet talking to strangers about how much you hate your coworkers, or you know, doing whatever it is you like to do. But yeah, anyway, I'll have a normal video out on Tuesday. I'm actually gonna shoot a weekend reading vlog this week. Weekend. It's the weekend of the royal wedding, so check that out. I love the royal wedding, so, or royals in general. I love it when they get married even more. Anyway, I will see you guys next week. Leave a comment letting me know like who your favorite YouTubers are, and maybe I'll check them out and I'll leave a comment on their videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.